So, Gil, by your estimation, how many players have Jordan's skill in this current NBA?
If we just do raw, all we can go off is just the metrics of their agility, speed, and then their jumping ability, height, and attributes. That's all we can go off of. How you use it is very. So as a shooting guard, like who we're talking about, you're talking about somebody like DeRozan, James Harden. You're talking about PG, Zach LaVine. Fucking Monk can go up in there. Like it's a normal thing. 40-inch verticals. That wasn't a thing back then.
But you're talking about guys who are a mix of both. I think, as far as talent and skill, DeRozan, all those guys have a mix of both. They hit the midi, they can do things, but they're also uber athletic.
That's what I said. He didn't have uber like you're talking about Reggie Miller's, Joe Dumars.
Right,
like, these
right.
guys,
They're not athletic at all.
You know what I mean? If we really want to have this discussion about Jordan's competition, just go this top 5 shooting guards in history. He didn't play against any of them.
So,
Gilbert. Oh, Gilberts. Welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. Gilbert Arenas, delusional. And the fact is, we talked about this, they keep dissing past greats, right? They keep dissing past greats. You're not just dissing past errors, you're dissing past greats, and Gilbert Arenas was never great. He was never great. He had a couple years where he was good, but he was never great. So we'll talk about what he said in a minute, but let me ask you this. Is Michael Jordan the greatest shooting guard of all time? Offensively and defensively, is Michael Jordan the greatest shooting guard of all time? Yes, Michael Jordan offensively and defensively is the greatest shooting guard of all time. No question about it. Michael Jordan didn't leave any holes in his legacy. All you can say about Michael Jordan is his team sucked at one point. And that was in the 80s. And that was because the teams like Boston Celtics, they were loaded with 5 to 6 Hall of Famers throughout the 80s. Right? So a person like Bird, he came into riches. He was already coming into a team with 2 Hall of Famers. The next season, 4 Hall of Famers on the team. The next season, it went up to 5 and 6. So let me ask you this question. Who is the greatest? We'll just say it this way. Who is the greatest shooting small forward of all time? Who is the best shooting small forward of all time? I'm going to give you 5 seconds. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you 5 more seconds. Who's the greatest shooting small forward of all time and the greatest small forward defender of all time? Well, we all know that either it's going to be Kevin Durant as the greatest shooting small forward of all time or Larry Bird. Right? And you can pick a slew of different small forwards as far as defenders, but we all agree that it will probably be Dennis Rodman. Sorry, I think a lot of you guys will be like, oh, Dennis Rodman, a power forward. Dennis Rodman ain't no power forward. Dennis Rodman didn't play no power forward on the Pistons. Yes, he played it on the Bulls at times, but no, he's a small forward. Matter of fact, let's look this up. We'll look this up right now. Dennis Rodman. Come on, get out of my face. Dennis Rodman. I already know they're going to have him listed as both. Yep. Small forward in power forward. 228. Definitely. Definitely. 228, and I don't even think he was I think he was 228 when he played with the Bulls. But no way this guy was 228, 6'7"? Nah. Well, I can't really say height. because Charles Barkley, he went back and forth. But really, power forward is maybe like 6'10". The least you can get is 6'9", but it's definitely LeBron is taller than this. Larry Bird is taller than 6'7". So the greatest defender at small forward is Dennis Rodman. Let's look this up real quick. Stay with me real quick because we're gonna get into this deeper. Let's look this up. Greatest NBA small forward defenders. Let's see if we can look this up. You know, they ain't tripping on this. You know, some of the greatest small forwards, and LeBron considered one of the greatest small. Okay, I thought it said number one. Best defensive small forward. So let's look at this in StatMoose. StatMoose is pretty good. So they're saying, let me look down here real quick. Are they going on ratings? Yeah, they're going on defensive ratings. So small forward, let me make sure this is accurate. John Havlicek has the lowest career defensive rating by a small forward at 98.7. So on StatMoose, they're going, is Havlicek, Rick Barry, who is this? Julius Erving, Dan Rich, Larry Bird, Scottie Pippen, and you could, how did I forget about Scottie Pippen? We all know LeBron ain't no better defender than Scottie Pippen. Yeah, you probably could put. They're going by career ratings. Let me see. Yeah, this is for a career. Bird has a better career rating than LeBron James. Dan Rich, Larry Bird, Pippen, McMillan, Sean Marion. Oh man, where's LeBron James? Bruce Bowen is number 15. Paul Pierce is 18. Wow. Kawhi Leonard. Yeah, we forgot about Kawhi Leonard. He's a small forward too. He's at 24. Gerald Wallace is at 22. Andre Karolinko. Wow. And it won't let me go down any further unless I unlock it, but I'm not about to pay for that. Yeah, it's his career right here. So LeBron isn't even in his top 25 right here. So I'm gonna ask you again. And I guess, let me see. I don't see Dennis Rodman in here neither. Let me see. Let me put power forward in here. See if that changes anything. Power forward. Okay, Tim Duncan is number 1. Jermaine O'Neal is a power forward. Wow. Let me see. Oh, they put Dennis Rodman as a power forward. So Dennis Rodman is number 12 on StatMoose. This is all-time defensive rating. As the best defensive rating by a power forward. So Tim Duncan is number 1. Giannis is 4. Sean Kemp is 14. So where's LeBron James? It only goes to 25, and then you got to unlock it. So where's LeBron James? He's not on the power forward list or the small forward list. So I'm gonna ask you guys. We hear this guy running his mouth. We already know that Kevin Durant, or most people would say Larry Bird, are the best shooting small forwards of all time. So with those two questions answered, that LeBron probably isn't top 10 small forward, shooting small forward of all time, or even top 5, whatever you want to say. And he's not up there with the defenders, the great defenders in the top 25 in small forward or power forward. I'm going to ask you this question right here. How can LeBron be the number 1 best small forward of all time? He's not top 5 in defense or offense, or I don't even think top 10. As far as a shooter, he's not. I don't think I will put him top 10. Definitely not top 5. in a defensive small forward or power forward, you see he's not in there. Go look on Stat Moose. I just looked it up. So what I'm trying to say is Gilbert Arenas is getting paid by Clutch Sports, but he comes out and he says all this garbage. And he says that there was no athletic players like Michael Jordan back in the day. Basically repeating what Anthony Edwards said, in that nobody was on Michael Jordan's level back then as far as athleticism and had that kind of vert. What the hell happened to Dominique Wilkins? What about Dominique Wilkins? So Dominique Wilkins wasn't any good? What about Shawn Kemp? Well, I guess he just narrowed it down to shooting guards. So he said there's players in this era, the 2020s that nobody watches. It has the lowest NBA ratings in international, I mean not international, in NBA history. And guess who runs the show? International players. Guess who's your top two players that's running the NBA? Two plumbers who can barely jump over a damn phone book and are out doing these great athletes that we never seen. We never seen these athletes that's in the 2020s. We didn't see them in the 90s or in the 80s or in the 70s or in the 60s. But somehow two plumbers, Joker and Luka, is running all over them in the two best players in this league. Two plumbers that can barely jump over a phone book. And damn, they're averaging a triple-double on these guys. These athletic dudes. Who he says, PG, played in the 210s. Harden, he says Monk. Really? And DeRozan, and I forget the other guy he said, can all do what Michael Jordan did going. He said something about going to the hole. So when these guys go to the hole, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. There's one center, maybe, that's slow-footed, like a Rudy Gobert, walking like he got two left feet. And Joker, who will back away from you while you're going up. I've never seen nothing like it in my life. I want you guys, every time you watch a Denver game, watch how many times when the guy goes up, he just backs away and waits for the ball to come out the hoop so he can inbound it. These are the rim protectors. So, in essence, DeMar DeRozan, James Harden, and Monk and PG should be scoring 40 a game easily. There's nobody there. Jordan didn't play against any athletic shooting guards. Oh, goodness. This guy. So, let's check this out. So you see Clyde Drexler. That's a joke. What shooting guard in this era is more athletic than Clyde Drexler? Tell me. Oh, it's James Harden? It's Monk? It's DeRozan? Reggie Miller. Mitch Richmond. Joe Dumars. Kendall Gill, Hershey Hopkins, Allen Houston, Jimmy Jackson. Oh, we said Dan Marley, Isaiah Ryder, Steve Smith, Latrell Sprewell, John Starks is pretty athletic, and others. Now, nobody's ever going to duplicate what Michael Jordan did. It's just not going to happen. But I want you to look here. When we look at the great centers of the 90s, Hakeem, Shaq, then he come in, what, 92? David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, Alonzo Mourning, Dikembe, Rick Smith. Boy, Rick Smith will give you the business a lot of times. They got Tim Duncan on here because he did play center a lot. Divox, and you got Brad Daugherty. And you look at these forwards: Karl Malone, Barkley, Rodman, Sean Kemp, Tim Duncan, Danny Manning. Who is this? Derek Coleman, Chris Webber, Kevin Garnett, and Larry Johnson. Oh my goodness. So I'm gonna ask you, who was LeBron's so-called competition? Who was his so-called competition? So, somebody answer that. In the 210s. Because we're gonna let's go to fadeaway world in the top 10 greatest small forwards in the 210s. Because this is LeBron's what? It's his prime. Remember, the 2020s ain't his prime. He's there to destroy it and make money. That's it. So, according to Fadeaway World, let me get this damn advertisement off here. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. They say number 2, Rudy Gay. The dude was decent for a couple years. Boy, they got some advertisement up on here, boy. They ain't playing around. Who else? Gordon Hayward. What you got? Come on, man. It ain't adding up. It ain't adding up. Lou Aldang. Oh, I can't even say it. Lou Aldang is number 3. Paul Pierce? Nah, man. Paul Pierce ain't in no damn 210s. We ain't doing that. They got Paul Pierce at 7. Nah, hell no. Iguodala at number 6. Wow. Carmelo Anthony at number 5. Okay. I guess it's going to start to get good now. Paul George at number 4. Wow, they got Paul George in front of Carmelo Anthony. Probably because Carmelo Anthony don't play no damn defense. Kawhi Leonard, respectable, at number 3. And then we got Kevin Garnett at number 2. And then, of course, you got LeBron. Let me see something real quick. Forwards. I just want to make sure. Because I don't want people coming back. Hey, man, you didn't do this. You didn't do that. I wonder. Here we go. So we'll just do small forwards because on here, what you see on your screen, that's all the forwards. So in the 90s, the greatest small forwards of all time, without power forwards, you have Scottie Pippen, Glenn Rice, Dominique Wilkins, Chris Mullin, Shrimp, Tony Kukoc, who is this? Glenn Robinson, Sean Elliott, and Clifford Robinson. And I thought I missed one. I say Grant Hill. Look, man, when you put all that great competition together versus what Michael Jordan had to go through, the centers, the power forwards, the small forwards, the shooting guards, we didn't even do point guards. What Mike had to go through. And it's funny when, this guy talks and he acts like only one guy was guarding Michael Jordan. Really? 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 Go watch them Piston games. Go watch any game. You see switches and all kind of stuff. It ain't just one guy guarding one guy all the time. That ain't how the NBA works. If that was the case, we can look at LeBron James. He done switched off on his guy so damn much. Every game. He's got to have a screen or a switch or just barrel onto the basket with a straight on to get a shot off. So this is where we are. Michael Jordan Nobody's going to stop him. So you're trying to say right now, DeMar DeRozan is going to stop Michael Jordan? He's not a good defender. PG, he's a good defender, but he's not a great defender. You getting all NBA defensive teams in this era, it means zero, nothing. There's no competition. So if you're a defensive guy, guess what? You're just going to make an NBA defensive team. That's why LeBron has zero excuse in the 210s, in the 2020s, not to be on defensive teams. Because if you even try to play defense at a good level, it doesn't even have to be at a high level, you're going to make a defensive team. Most of your top 3 to top 5 players in the league in the 80s and 90s was on a defensive team. I ain't going to say all of them, but I would say half to 3/4 of them all the time was on a defensive team, whether it was first or second. That's just how it was. Not in this era. All you got to do in this era, they done lax the defense off so much that nobody even cares about playing defense. It's about how you can outscore your opponent and get the refs to give you bullshit calls. See, back in the day, defense meant you weren't getting bailed out by the refs. The games didn't look fixed. Now, you don't even have to play no defense. And to me, I can tell you that makes it look rigged when you don't even have to really play no defense. You don't have to give that kind of effort. So I don't see how LeBron can be a top 5 player, a GOAT, or the best at his position if offensively he's not the best at his position, or defensively he's not the best at his position. He's not. He's not. You don't want to go to power forward because Tim Duncan is the greatest power forward of all time. So I think LeBron wants to stay at that small forward. But the problem is, defensively, he's not that dude. You saw what we saw on there. We're going by all-time rating. That was Havlicek. And LeBron ain't even nowhere to be found. I don't even think LeBron is the top 5 greatest shooter of all time at his position. So again, how can he be the GOAT? There's nobody better than Wilt Chamberlain at his position. Nobody. Now, some people can say, oh, well, you can throw in Hakeem. Yeah, you could do that. You can say Hakeem was more skilled. But overall, I don't think Hakeem was better. Hakeem didn't even average 25 points per game. So we all know it's Wilt Chamberlain. And then we can argue who's the best after that. We all know defensively, it's probably Wilt Chamberlain. If we're just looking at the record books, what's on the books, it's Hakeem. It's Hakeem. But when we look at reality, it's going to be Wilt. It's going to be Wilt Chamberlain. So Gilbert Arenas has a lot to explain. It don't matter what era Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was in the 80s. He was dusting them off. Went to the 90s, dusting them off. Took a 3-year break, and eventually was averaging 25 or 26? 5-5 at 39 years old. 38, 39, and then got hurt. It was basically over. Remember, LeBron, he's supposed to be this great athlete. How come he won't take 1 year off and come back? Do some Michael Jordan-ish, right? Take a year off, because all you do is rest during the damn season anyway. You're sitting on the bench and load management and all this stuff. Just do that. It's going to be real interesting to see what's going on this year. And maybe that's why they brought in Bronny as his prop to take some heat off of LeBron. But it's going to be interesting to see how he can run up and down the court in year 22 with 22-year-olds, 25-year-olds, and 30-year-olds up and down that court. dunking, and doing layups. After he just did a whole regular season, he just did the play-in, he did the playoffs, and he did the Olympics. This is going to be. Let's see what's going on here. Because he did drop. What, he dropped down to 25 points last year? Was it 25 points per game? But he still got like 8 rebounds with nobody under the cup. It's just exposing this era. Exposing it. So let's see what's going to happen. How anybody's going to be able to explain how he's running the court full throttle after playing 21 seasons and going through all those NBA finals, all those playoffs, all those international games. What am I missing? How can somebody explain that? I don't care about the stats. We already know what the stats are. 2 plumbers are running the league. 1 and 2, Luka and Joker. So the league is whatever. It's a joke. We just explained how can this be the most athletic era of all time. They're scared to participate in the slam dunk contest. Right? Scared to even do dunks. You got plumbers winning the dunk contest who don't even play in the NBA in back-to-back seasons, and you got 2 plumbers running the league in the most athletic era of all time. I just want to know, how athletic have you ever known PG to be? This guy's a high flyer? What about Harden? He's a high flyer? What about DeRozan? Did he enter a dunk contest? I don't remember him being no high flyer. Who's the other guy they said? Let me look it up. Oh, Monk. Get out of here, man. They trying hard, man, to keep the 2020s alive. It's not going to happen, man. We're looking at the ratings. Well, we're going to the 24-25 season. And so far in the 2020s, it's been the worst ratings in NBA history. Right? And we know what happened. And what's really going on. After LeBron James lost his, 6 finals in 2018, making him 3-4. 3-6. Yeah, he wish he was 3-4. Making him 3-6. The NBA freaked out. The media freaked out. They didn't know what to do. Because they already did this Jordan comparison. The East was weak. He kept going to the finals, trying to get this man at least to 500. Gave him super teams. And he still came out after 2018 finals. Not only with a sweep, getting swept. He was now 3-6. Wow. So what's the next move? Moving forward, he missed the playoffs the next season. So moving forward, what would happen? The Nick Rice, the Shannon Sharps, all these guys would start to say what? The 80s was plumbers. The 90s was plumbers. Jordan's competition was weak. Got to remember when we started hearing that. We didn't hear that before. It was when LeBron lost his 6 finals. They got to come out with something. This is the new game plan right here. That's the best they got. They couldn't make a winner out of this guy. They couldn't say, well, damn, this guy, he's a good free throw shooter. He's going to kill you at the mid-range. He's going to kill you at the 3. He's going to give you footwork. They just say dumb stuff. Man, this guy's got a high IQ. A great passer. 7 assists. That's good. It's not great. It's not upper echelon. They forgot to tell you he's a poor rebounder. 7 rebounds a game at 6'9". This guy should be in this era with no big man. This guy should be pulling you about 10 rebounds a game. That's it. Larry Bird averaged 10. Charles Barkley 10 at like 6'4". Going against other rebounders in the paint. They can't give us nothing to make it legit with this guy. There's nothing legit that will put this guy as the GOAT, challenging Michael Jordan, a top 5 player, a winner, a skill player. Because remember, when they talk about skill players, they will talk about Kobe a lot, right? Even LeBron called Kobe the best skill player in the game. Have you ever heard anybody say LeBron is a great skill player? They would have to explain on what level. You have no footwork. You're not known for that. Tracy McGrady give you the footwork. Remember, Michael Jordan is the original footwork guy on the perimeter. It's Michael Jordan. Nobody was giving you that footwork like that before Michael Jordan. I'm not going to try to say there's no guys that came before him that didn't have any footwork. I'm just saying the type of footwork like that, nobody was giving you that type of footwork before Michael Jordan on the perimeter. So LeBron don't have that footwork of Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson, Starberry, Kobe Bryant, Tracy McGrady, what's his name? A lot of these guys. Grant Hill gave you the footwork. You could just, the list goes on and on and on. LeBron ain't gonna give you no footwork. They can't explain what makes him so great. Besides barreling to the ball, barreling to the basket, doing dunks and layups. He's not Tim Duncan. What do they call Tim Duncan? The big fundamental. How come they don't call LeBron that? If he's supposed to be this all-around player, no big fundamental? What? No skill player? Because when we look at his numbers, his points, mostly dunks and layups. The rebounds, nobody under the basket. You haven't really had true centers. Everybody got smaller as he got bigger, starting in the 2000s. The assist, he's not even a point guard. He's just always got the ball in his hand. So he just throws somebody the ball and they score. It's nothing like a real floor general. Jason Kidd, Chris Paul, Magic Johnson, none of these guys. So that's why people don't associate him with the name big fundamental or a skill guy. Because everybody knows his numbers are fugazi when you look at the eye test. And an eye test tells you easy baskets with a straight arm to somebody's head, chest, stomach, or dunks. The rebounds are poor, 7 per game for a 6'9" guy, 250. And we already talked about this. So, what? I just don't understand. If these guys are getting paid from Clutch Sports, I hope this is a tax write-off. I mean, because they're spending a lot of money on nothing. It's nothing. Just for people to think you're the GOAT.